Welcome to Grassroots to Bluegrass Volume 3. Influences, that's what we're talking about, and how these influences help shape a musical genre. We're also talking about family, and how family is an integral part of the development of bluegrass music. So get comfortable and get ready to hear some family history and some family harmony.
I know I'm being very repetitive when I keep saying that so-and-so influenced me or was a highlight for me and such as that, but truly one of the greatest experiences I've enjoyed this entire time that I've been in the business was meeting Mr. A.P. Carter. I've been influenced by their records for many years and sung a lot of their songs. And in 1947, when I first went to WCYB in Bristol, Virginia on the Farm and Fun Time, Mr. A.P. had just a 5-minute program on that 2-hour show at noon each day. And he sold little testaments, I remember. And we'd rotate on that show, so between shows I'd get him aside or sit out in the windowsill of the old Shelby Hotel and pick his head. I would like to have asked a lot more questions, but I'm afraid he'd get bugged with me and run me off. So a lot of things went unanswered, you know. But I loved him so much.
He never did talk a whole lot.
He did he? So what I'm coming to is we're very pleased to have his daughter, Janette Carter, with us here. She and Joe are carrying on the tradition of the Carter family at the Carter Fold up in Hilton's. That's not the hotel, is it? Hilton's, Virginia. That's just out of Gate City over there. But she's invited me up several times. I was trying to cover the fact I forgot Hilton's, you know. You know, it's all right.
It's really Macy Springs, and they took the post office out a long time ago, so you get your mail at Hilton's.
Macy Springs, that was it.
Macy Springs.
That's right, I remember that, yeah.
It was named after 3 springs. My daddy said it was there in the valley. A man named Macy had 3 springs.
I'll be darned. Well, very interesting. You're carrying on with it well up there. Have a little museum as well, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And a show every Saturday night there, year-round. Has a bluegrass old-time festival a couple of times a year, don't you?
I have a festival once a year, always the first Saturday in August.
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday. And it's soon be 25 years in August since I've been going.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is indeed. But she still gets around a lot. She comes down to Norris, Tennessee to the Appalachian Homecoming, and each fall we have a chance to visit there. So I was really pleased when she found it possible to come and be with us on this bluegrass get-together where we're tracing the old-time music and mountain music up to what is now called bluegrass. You got any stories you'd like to tell us, Janette?
Well, they was talking a while ago about chickens.
Yeah.
That's the way I bought my first altar harp.
Really?
Mommy would let me play her altar harp, and I said, well, I'd like to buy me an altar harp myself. And me and Helen, that's Maybelle's oldest one, of course, she's gone now.
Yeah.
We worked together, and Daddy gave me a quarter each time I went with them to me and her to sing. He'd give her a quarter, too. We both got a quarter. I don't know what she done with hers, but I saved mine to buy me an altar harp. So I got $13 to buy me an altar harp, and I told Daddy, I said, now bring me an altar harp. And that's what my first one cost. So back when I was a little girl, we took eggs to the store to buy groceries. And if you didn't have enough eggs, you'd take an old hen, you know, or something. So he figured we needed chickens worse than I needed an altar harp. So he bought chickens, and I had to save all over again for my altar harp.
But you showed him you finally got an altar harp, didn't you?
I finally got one.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I finally got an altar harp.
When Martha and I started working up at Janette's place, we didn't have a fiddle player. And we wanted to work the place real well because we know her and respect her and love her.
Yeah.
And we wanted to work the place pretty much. And then, so I said, well, but we don't have a fiddle player. She says, well, y'all come on to work. I'll hire the fiddle player for you. So it's pretty good. And she put the fiddle player on the stage with, and paid for the fiddle player to work with us. So
You have to have a
I'll
fiddle
never
player.
forget that.
Jeanette's kind of frugal too, if you'll allow me to say that. She learned that from
that, though.
from AP, didn't you, Jeanette?
Yeah.
But whatever
Well,
she
they
tells
dance-
you can.
They dance a whole lot up there, the old hoedown music and like that, and they want a fiddle. So if they come in without a fiddle, I get somebody to play the fiddle.
There you go.
So that's the way it goes.
That's wonderful.
I'm trying to preserve and keep alive old time and bluegrass music.
You're doing a good job.
And that's what I'm trying to do, and I must be doing it pretty good. I'm going 25 years.
That's right. Were you going to do a song for us? Did you have something to say, Bill?
I just wanted to say a little something about Jeanette's dad. Back in 1953, when I left the Wheeling Jamboree, I could see the handwriting on the wall. There wasn't going to be any work all winter. And so in the month of November, the Dixie Mountain Boys and I just pulled out of Wheeling at the crack of dawn one morning and headed south. And came down and was with A.P. Carter, and we were talking about what we could do, some work. We had done some singing together, and we'd done some radio programs and things together. And I said, well, can you think of anything? Well, he said, there's folks over in Kingsport, that radio station. And I went over there, and the radio station didn't have any money left anymore because they just moved their studio. So I headed on out and went on further south, and those were in the days where Johnny Clark and I would share a foot-long hot dog for our meal for the day, I might add. And when I got settled, I settled back in Richmond, and I had a letter from Jeanette's dad, and this is one of the things that I always remembered about him. He said, you know, I didn't realize that you weren't going to come back here after you went to Kingsport. I thought you were going to come on back. And he said, I've got a few little houses up here in the valley, and he said I was fixing to give you and the boys a house to live in for the winter. And of course, Jeanette's dad ran a grocery store, and he said I was going to just give you groceries out of the grocery store, and we'd book us a bunch of dates for the spring and the summer. And then he went on to say, you know, if you're not working and you're living far enough back here and you get in one of these backwoods houses, nobody knows you're not working.
There you go.
I thought that was
They take your vacation, don't they? That's a wonderful story.
Hey,
And
Jeanette,
depicts.
aren't you going to be over in Bristol on the 13th of March for the big thing?
I guess.
I think Ralph Stanley is. I know we are.
I think so.
Yeah. I guess she's going to be there.
Well, I'm not far from Bristol, about 20 miles.
I know. You gonna play one for us, Jeanette?
Yes.
Which one are you gonna do today?
I'll do the first one that they done when they recorded in Bristol way back in 1927. I keep telling people, well, that's the year Joe was a baby. So my brother Joe works with me all the time up at the fold, or my son Dale. Most of the time I'm running around by myself. Can't get Joe to go, and Dale's busy. And Bill Clifton helps me out a whole lot. He lives up at Mendota, not too far from me, so he comes down quite often. My heart is sad and I'm in sorrow, thinking of the one I love. When shall I see him? Oh, I'll never meet him in heaven above.
Thank you, Janette. That's so that low register that you and Maybell sing in just knocks me out. That is so reminiscent of the original records you had, you know.
Mac, from earlier this morning, I can understand how that instrument, just as angelic as that sounds with Janette singing that, but I don't know if that can really do that for Little Roy or not.
No.
He was carrying on earlier.
That was a beautiful match, voice and heart.
Yeah,
Beautiful match.
it really, really is.
Put a tear in your eye, it really would. It's great.
Those old Carter family.
I got a bunch of boys called the Sons of the Carolinas, and I'd go and do a show with Janette occasionally up there, and I always have her to play one.
Yeah. Eddie Adcock, who was just talking there, he and Martha are going to do a Carter family song too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie, I've
Carter
known for a long
family are our
time.
heroes.
There you go.
They really are.
We've known Eddie for a long time, he and Martha both. But Eddie talked earlier about J.D. coming to me at a young age, working in the band, and I had to take Eddie and raise him too. I don't know. I think sometimes I was looking the wrong way. I didn't do. No, seriously, his mother was very complimentary. Said, "I've been listening to you on the radio, and I believe you take care of my boy. I want him to pick with you." So she brought him over to Richmond, didn't she, Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must say at this point the best job I ever had was working with Mac, and made for the time that it was, I probably made the most money I ever made in my life working with Mac. And despite a lot of these people say one of Mac's famous handshakes, I got paid probably more money than I've made till this date. Even though I make a very comfortable living now, I just must say that for the time and place, Mac paid me so well and paid all his musicians so well. And through the years, Mac and I have remained friends, and I call him my best friend in the music business because he's helped me a couple times when I was down and out, and he told me never to tell that.
Yeah, blabbermouth.
There's two of you here that's
Do
helped
you
me when I was
remember
down
where
and
you
out.
brought him in Richmond, Mac? Do you remember where you brought him in Richmond to? Where you brought him
the
to?
McBride's trailer park.
To
is
my
what he's
trailer.
saying.
Oh.
And
no, I
left him.
remember that.
And he lived with me for 3 or 4 weeks, getting started. You can't get shut of me no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You brought him to my trailer there in Richmond.
That's Mac,
Well,
ain't it?
yeah.
What you going to sing, Eddie?
I think the Go Watch and Chain will be what
yeah,
we'll
that's
do.
what I-
And I've always, every time we do a show, one of the statements we make that the music industry as we know it today would not be the same had it not been for the Carter family.
I agree.
And we do this song right after we make that statement. Go Watch and Chain. Everybody can join in on this one.
How can I stay here without you? I have nothing to cheer my poor heart. This old world would seem sad, love, without you.
Thank you, Eddie and Martha. That's fine, fine. You make him sound good, Martha. Thank you.
We've been together 26 years, this 4-year-old and me.
Is that?
People always tell me, like, man, you live with how old is she? And, they can't believe it. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I didn't meet her when she was 4, and we've been together 26 years. Now, you kind of figure it out for yourself. I can't help if I got old and she didn't.
I know. That's aggravating, didn't it? Oh, going right along with this Carter family trend that we've gotten started here. Bill Clifton sitting right next to me here, and Janette mentioned you live right down the road from her there, Bill.
We're about 6 miles up the road in a little place called Mendota, Virginia. Yeah.
Right. So glad that you could come be with us today. And
Me too.
Bill has stuck to the old time music through the years too. First knew you around Richmond when we were there.
Well, if it weren't for the Carter family, I probably wouldn't be playing music, but that was the first influence I had. The Carters and Wiley and Zeke Morris, the Morris brothers. And I still love the music of both the Morris brothers and the Carter family, although Zeke Morris doesn't play much anymore. In fact, he's hard to get out of the house. Goes down to the garage, I think, most of the day. But yeah, the original Carter family was certainly my most influential reason for playing music at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you bring us a sample of that today?
Well, yes. If I could get Mike Seeger over here with an auto harp, and Michael, I guess you get to have a table here, and I get Gene Wooten to kick us off. We'll do us an inspirational song here. This is one that I guess I've always liked inspirational songs that kind of had a nice message to them. They aren't gospel songs or sacred songs as such. They're just songs that have nice messages to them. And I recently had a friend who died in the village where we live, and he had made a comment just before he died. He'd been very ill. He said, nobody comes to see you when you're sick. I don't know whether, he was sick with cancer, but he just couldn't figure out why nobody ever came by to see him. And this is called Give Me the Roses While I Live. Hang on just a second, Gene. Okay. Wonderful things of folks are said when they have passed away. Roses adorn their narrow bed over the sleeping clay. Give me the roses while I live, trying to cheer me on. Useless are flowers that you give after the soul has gone, buddy. Let us not wait to do good deeds till they have passed away. Now is the time to sow good seeds while here on earth we stay. Give me the roses while I live, trying to cheer me on. Useless are flowers that you give after the soul has gone. Kind words are useless when folks lie cold in a narrow bed. Don't wait till death to speak kind words. Now must the words be said. Give me the roses while
Oh, that's fine, Bill. Bill Clifton, fine. Bill, you moved to England for a while.
I guess too long, Mac, yeah. I came back and nobody knew who I was anymore at all.
Really?
So I was over there 15 years.
Were you?
I didn't mean to move over. It just so happened I did. I went over to spend about 10 months. We actually let the house. We owned a house in Charlottesville at the time. And let the house to some nurses in the nursing program at the University of Virginia. And I said, now I may get back before 10 months is over, so you may have to move out. And they said, well, that's all right. And I stayed 15 years. Never could get the money to come home again.
I don't believe that part. But I spent a most enjoyable weekend at your place in England one time.
Yeah, we had a good time.
I was over there on tour, and Bill, you lived how far out of England? 60, 70 miles, something like that?
Well, it wasn't that far out,
London,
actually.
rather.
No, it's probably about 40 miles out.
Really?
Yeah. Mhm.
Anyhow, I took the advantage of riding the train out there. I'd heard about the English trains and caught the train out to your place, and you met me there. Very interesting house you lived in. The house was made out of a ship that a seafaring man had dismantled, I believe, or part of it. Am I correct in that?
I think, was I in a thatched roof house when you were there? I can't
I don't know
remember
about
which
the roof,
house
but I know
was
the
in
beams
now.
in my room had come out of this ship.
Yeah.
The old seafaring guy had dismantled and built part of this house with it.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. If I remember correctly.
Yeah. I'm thinking, was Cyril Phillips with us that night when we went to the pub together?
I don't know. You remember
a
that?
retired farmer. Do you remember that?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Cyril had lost his wife, and his daughters were all up and married and everything. And we went out to a little pub that he knew where he said you could do some singing. I'd never been to the pub myself.
Yeah.
And you had that.
Incidentally, to interrupt you a little bit, Burl Ives had just gotten married again. It was in all of the London papers. And he was over there, apparently. And I don't know whether it was an English lady he'd married or what. But anyhow, he had a lot of publicity. Go ahead now with...
Well, we we went into this little pub, and it was, I guess it was about, wasn't room for more than 50 people in that pub. Right. And we just decided we'd go down there and have a pint of beer and just visit and swap a few songs. And Cyril actually played the accordion, but I don't think he brought it along that night because he would have been unable to play it that night probably. But we walked into there, and as soon as we walked into that pub, why, there was a hush that ran over the whole pub. Everybody stopped talking, and everybody turned around, and they looked right at Mac. And I didn't know what they were thinking right away. I thought, well, they don't know Mac Wiseman, but he was aware that there'd been that article in the paper about Burl Ives the day before.
That's who everybody thought I was. See?
Everybody in the pub was sure it was Burl Ives that had come in. Yeah,
well, we had
an
enjoyable evening there. I enjoyed it very much. Froggy went according. Yeah.
Was it that night, Mac, that we did a 3-hour tape for John Atkins, that he wanted to do a reel-to-reel tape?
Yes.
Because you said something that I found very interesting, and if you're not going to mention this, I'd like to mention it because it's always stuck with me. This friend of ours in England named John Atkins, who'd done a lot of writing for magazines and put together some various long play albums for RCA Victor of Carter Family, Jimmy Rogers, and various other people, Hank Snow. And he asked Mac some questions about coming into the music and starting your recording contract. And Mac said, well, Randy Wood?
Yeah.
Randy Wood approached me, and he said, little old Dot Records had just started up, and he said, Randy Wood approached me, and he said, would you record some songs for Dot Records? And quite frankly, said Mac, I didn't know who was doing who a favor. He said, I decided to go ahead with it.
Yeah, there wasn't that many labels back then. Dot was one of the first independent labels that became successful. And I tried
here now for
but I tried desperately, knowing that records made the difference whether you're going to be successful or not.
Yeah.
But I'd been turned down by every major, I guess, for some reason. But when Dot came along, as much as I wanted on record, I wasn't. Their biggest distributor was the back seat of their car, I think. But they went on to do quite well. That was a wonderful 13 years for me.
Do you remember Blue Ridge Records?
Oh, yeah.
From North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. I had a conversation with Noah Adams one day, who was the owner of Blue Ridge. He and his daughter, Drusilla, ran the record company, and we were talking. I'd done a couple recordings for him, and Jim Eanes had just recorded Missing in Action, or not just recorded. Actually, he'd recorded a year or two earlier than that. And I was talking to Noah Adams about it one day, who ran a little printing business out of his garage, and he said, well, I said, I understood that MGM Records came in here and offered to buy the Jim Eanes masters and also Blue Ridge label and so forth, and pay $50,000. Is that true? This is, mind you, 1950. $50,000 in 1950. I bought quite a bit of groceries. And he said, yeah, they came in here, and he said there's some smart-looking men, and they were in suits and ties, and they wanted me to come up to the hotel and have lunch with them. And I went up to the hotel and had lunch with them in his overalls. And he said, they offered me $50,000. They wanted to buy the label and the Jim Eanes Missing in Action. And I said, no. And I said, why did you say no? He said, well, I figured if it was worth that much to them, it must be worth more than that to me. And unfortunately, Blue Ridge made a mistake then. They could have gone along and done a lot more things.
Yeah, should have taken it to run that time, shouldn't he? Oh, well, we got so much great talent here that hardly know where to go next, but we got some folks on the back row back here, a couple of pretty ladies and a fine, distinguished-looking elderly gentleman there. 93, I believe Pop Lewis is. And the dude over here with the banjo is a booby prize to get the two girls, and Pop, you have to take that, you know. That happens a lot on Bluegrass Festival. I get Polly to come out and sing with me, but the deal is if Polly comes out to sing, little Roy has to come along.
Well, I'd like to say something about Mac.
Uh-oh.
I'd like to say something about Mac. Over the years, a lot of people don't know who helps everybody. Everybody in here, we're all friends, and we've been playing music. But Mac Wiseman, when we were just starting up, he would book us on things, and I never will forget one of the biggest times I ever had in my life. It was a place called Shindig in the Barn in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The Lewis family would have never gone to Pennsylvania if it hadn't been for Mac Wiseman. And looking over the crowd, I see somebody else that hadn't been mentioned, but I'm sure you are. It's Charlie Louvin. I remember the good days. I remember the good days when the Lewis family had our television program in Augusta, Georgia. We were just local around Channel 6. In fact, we just did our 44th Christmas television program for Channel 6 in Augusta. But back in the early 50s, I and Charlie would come with Paul Yandel. I never will forget it as long as I live. And we would sing on the program with them. And there was another lady that Polly was always crazy about, and it was Martha Carson. Oh, yeah. So the Lewis family, we got all ours put together by listening to what we call the greatest. That was Bill Monroe and Roy Acuff, and a group that nobody hardly ever mentions anymore, wonderful people, the Masters family, watching Mac Wiseman, watching ours brothers, Doyle Lawson, Bill Monroe, and Jim and Jesse. We just put it all together, and we're just happy to be a part of what's going on today. We love our bluegrass music, and we're going to keep doing it as long as we can.
Hey, Roy, tell us about when Mac was on the stage up there at Renfro Valley, and you got in a canoe, wasn't it?
Mac sings this song, Catfish John.
Yeah.
And if anybody has ever been to Renfro Valley, we'd been so many times. Well, every time you go up there, you didn't never know where the stage was going to be. It was always a different place. But at one year we went up there. They had the stage, which was a mobile home, and the water separated the people from the stage. Well, yeah. So a friend of mine from Yukon, Oklahoma, by the way, he taught Garth Brooks in school, and his manager, Gene Cranfield. We got this idea. He's a Potawatomi Indian. And he said, let's go rent a boat. We want to do something funny. So we went and rented a little canoe, and I dressed up like Catfish John. And when Mac Wiseman hit the stage, I don't know how far, could barely hear it. And I told Gene, I said, pedal me fast, pedal me. So here I go down the river. There with the boat, and he's singing Catfish John. Well, when the water was kind of swift, and as we started getting there, I started putting my hands in the water so the boat would stop. And I didn't know how deep the water. I can't swim a lick. But when I jumped out the boat, I helped my band jump in there, and it come up to about right here. And I went up on the stage, and I was Catfish John. I did that with Mac, and we jumped back in the boat, and we tried to go upstream. There wasn't no way you could go back upstream. We had to go the other direction. And by the way, you know, talking about Martha Carson, I remember a story, what happened one night. We was with Ira and Charlie Louvin over in Greenwood, South Carolina. You remember this just as well as I do. I used to like to go to all the shows. It didn't make no difference who it was, just to look at the automobiles. It wasn't such a thing as a bus. But I remember one night we was with Charlie and Ira, and they had on pink coats. I thought that was the neatest thing. And Charlie stood high, and Charlie stood low, and Ira was high, and they would sing. And then after the show that night, Martha Carson was late coming in. She had 2 brand new 54 limousine Cadillacs, and they were both traveling too close to each other. One put on the brakes, and the other one run into her. They come there with 2 beat up brand new Cadillacs, and the doors was wide with clothes hangers. I never will forget it.
Hey, well, I think it's about time that you sing us a good song.
You want to talk to Potty? She can talk.
Potty? Well, I never knew that till now, but you never let her say nothing. Talk to us, Polly.
Okay, Mac, when they were talking about Melvin and those were talking about when we first started a long time ago, well, back in the early 50s, we always rode in the old worn-out limousine cars to hold all of us because there's about 8 or 10 of us, you know. And finally, there's 9 of us. Finally, we got our first bus in 1960, and it rode so rough that Mama would always make us sandwiches, fried chicken or something to take on the bus. And this one Sunday, she made a whole bunch of boiled eggs. And the bus rode so rough that we couldn't keep an egg on our plate. They would keep rolling off. And we would, try to find a bargain on straws to drink out of, because you couldn't dare hold a drink up to your lips. It would crack your teeth, so we had to drink out of straws.
They've got a cure for that, Little Roy. I think they call it shocks.
We're going to go to this side and sing, can we?
You going to leave?
Oh, we're going to go over here. I want to go, I want to be with the #1 band over there.
Oh,
Mel
I
McCurry
see.
band.
Well, I guess I'll have to dance while you're going over there.
And I got a special friend over there that I want to talk about right quick.
Oh. We don't pay for traveling here. Need a stand-up microphone. Yeah, hold that.
I always enjoy playing, just being around somebody can play good as these boys right here. And that bass fiddle, I tell you what, we left Travis at home, but we got a good old Mike back there. And I want to say one thing. Everybody's talking about fiddle players. Here's a guy right here, Buddy Spiker, and he's played on the Lewis Family Records for about 35 years, I guess. And we knew him when he was, we used to watch him on television when he was on the Wilburn Brothers show. One of the greatest fiddle players in the whole wide world, Buddy Spiker. Let's make Buddy welcome, okay?
Thank you, Roy.
I'm a home prepared where the saints abide over in the glory land. And I long to be by my Savior's side over in the glory land. Just over in the glory land, I'll join the happy angel band over in the glory land. Just over in the glory land, there with the mighty host I'll stand over in the glory land. Over in the glory land, there to sing God's praise and His glory share. Over in the glory land, just over in the host I stand over in the glory land. Just over in the glory land, I'll join the happy angel band over in the glory land. Just over in the glory land, there with the mighty host I stand over in the glory land, over in the glory land, over in the glory land.
All right. Leroy, since you chose to sing right here, we need to sing our other song while we in this position, huh?
I just asked Janice if you couldn't do one more of them anyhow.
Okay. Leroy's going to bring the guitar around and we're going to sing a new song. This is a new one, and I hope Leroy slows it down rather than that fast.
I'm going to get down so they can't see me.
All right. Leroy, you don't have to. Leroy's so short, he don't need to bend down.
Okay, here we go. I don't know when I go, but I'm ready. Could be morning or midnight or noon. All I know is I'm anxiously waiting for this flight that is leaving soon.
I made plans and I'm taking a journey. Why don't you come and go while there's still room? Now I've already made my reservation on this flight that is leaving soon. I don't know when I go, but I'm ready. Could be morning or midnight or noon. All I know is I'm anxiously waiting for this flight that is leaving soon. I'll be gone when I hear that last trumpet, with the bride waiting down for the groom. And the time is at hand for my departure on this flight that is leaving soon. Oh, I don't know when I go, but I'm ready. Could be morning or midnight or noon. All I know is I'm anxiously waiting for this flight that is leaving soon. Oh, I don't know when I go, but I'm ready. Could be morning or midnight or noon. All I know is I'm anxiously waiting for this flight that is leaving soon. Oh, there's a flight that is leaving soon. Oh, there's a flight that is leaving soon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the fabulous Lewis family. Those folks are a double threat. They do the bluegrass festivals and do a lot of the gospel sings, and just a fine group of folks together. Play more dates than anybody allows. Yeah. Yeah, John?
I'd like to go on record as saying, and Roy knows about this, that I have it in my last will and testament that when I'm laid out that I want the Lewis sisters to sing at the end of my coffin, and if I don't straighten up, it's all right to close the lid.
Yeah. Well, I'd make the same request if I didn't have to take the banjo maker, you know.
He'd come along too.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Glad you could be here. I think while we got the microphone set front and center up here, we ought to call on Jim and Jesse to favor us with a little tune here. If you fellas want to do it up or do it wherever you want to, Jim, I don't care. Do it sitting there.
I was going to let Little Roy was going to take Jim's place, I thought.
Thank you very much.
You'll have to, if you can get Little Roy to leave, I'll come over there. I'm not going to get any closer to him.
Well, we work a lot with the Lewis family. In fact, we followed sort of the family tradition before we started in the music business. We always listened to the Carter family. In fact, the first show we ever saw, the Carter family came to our community between St. Paul and Colburn, Virginia, and played a little schoolhouse there. I always remember that. Played by the lamplight and everything. Yeah. And we've played a lot with the Lewis family. Of course, I was talking about Charlie Leuven a while ago. We started out about the same time, I guess, that Charlie and Ira did. And me and Charlie's got a lot in common. Really, we've got two tender singers to deal with in our career.
You're really blessed, aren't you?
Well, we had to separate one. We've been singing about over 50 years now together, and
Sonny, you're sitting off close to Bobby there to be applauding that.
Got the same thing going.
Yes, Sonny's there.
Me and Jess have got a lot in common, Charlie.
You know, I thought we had an understanding before we came down here that I wouldn't tell nothing on you if you wouldn't tell nothing on me.
I ain't told nothing yet. You really want to do it here? Okay,
I don't know. I feel pretty good right here.
We don't
always got the seat warm.
Little Roy was telling some pretty good things on you there. You didn't know it since we've been here, because Jim and Little Roy, they got a lot of things going. They against each other all the time.
That's ridiculous.
That's right, Little Roy. You set the mic up for him.
Set that up like that. Jesse, you were talking about the early.
Tell it all, Jim.
The other day when we were trying to learn to pick and sing, and it's great to see Walter Bales here. I used to. They were on Huntington, and you had an evening show, and I'd almost run home from school every day, and I'd turn the radio on. I could get you the Bales brothers from Huntington, and we learned a lot of the songs y'all wrote back there. And
people like you are our pride and joy.
Listen, we're thankful for all the people here. That thankful for the opportunity to get to be part of this. I just think about how blessed everybody is here. I thought I'd come in here and maybe we'd see a bunch of wheelchairs.
Mine's parked right outside.
Yeah, I left mine at the house. But it's great to it's great to see everybody here, and we have admired all of you down through the years. And Jesse mentioned Charlie over there. Jesse and Charlie, they were in the service together back in the Spanish-American War.
That tells it all the time, Charlie.
That's the only one we lost.
Charlie, I wouldn't have told that, but I remember those liner notes that you did on the album that time. How you bragged on my guitar playing, and even put it in writing. Now I guess we've recorded more Leuven Brothers songs though than any. Ira and Charlie had wrote some great songs down through the years, and we always admired you.
I wanted to, since somebody handed me a microphone, I think I need to defend myself on that. Jim asked me to write the liner notes on an album, and I was glad to do that because I love them both. And so I wrote, and I just wrote the truth. You know, in the Leuven Brothers, there was Ira, and then the guy that just hanging on. You know, I played just enough guitar so that he wouldn't have to hire somebody. Jesse's, Jim's in the same position, and I said that on the back of the album. And you know, he's had it in for me ever since then. It's the first time he's got a chance to break it off.
Charlie, that's why I got into handling the bookings and the money, because I knew Jesse had no way out. So, you know, if you can control that end of it, you're pretty safe for a time being.
And then Jesse got the crosswire in the bus.
Yeah, I tried to wire the bus the same way I played the mandolin. It didn't work too well.
Yeah, tell him how we started when I played the
I don't know
mandolin.
if my mic is on or not. Am I coming through okay?
It's on.
I hate to be talking here and not getting my part
It's
through.
on too much, really.
I've been trying to get my part through for 50 years now.
Tell him how I started playing the mandolin and taught you all that cross picking stuff.
Jim came out of he came out of the Army in one of those world wars, and
That's
and
old now. You can't tell that.
I was trying to play guitar with another band, and in fact, my first job was playing electric guitar. It didn't take them long to
That's
solve that
okay.
problem.
Bill Monroe had electric guitar one time, didn't he?
But and Jim, he come out of the Army, and he saved up enough money in the Army to go to a pawn shop somewhere and get a mandolin. I said, "Why are you going to do with that?" And he said, "Well, I'm going to learn to play it, and you playing the guitar." So we tried it a few times, and I slipped over when he wasn't looking, got the mandolin, started working on it, and he's been telling me what I could do with the mandolin ever since.
I got tired of hearing him complain about this. Said the mandolin's not in tune. I said, "Well, take it and keep it and tune it."
Anyway, we started singing together, and I listened to a lot of mandolin players. Bill Monroe was one of the main influences I had, and another man that Red Rector, who was a great mandolin player, played in Knoxville, and one played with the Bell's brother Paul Buskirk. Not Paul, but Ernest Ferguson, and Paul Buskirk is always good. Yeah, but I remember Ernest. I used to hear him play on your records, and I said, "Boy, that mandolin sound good. I wish I could play like that." Anyway, I tried to do things like that, and I found out I couldn't play like those guys. So I decided I'd just try something else. So I started playing backwards. And Jim, he looked at me sort of funny, like, "What are you trying to do?" I said, "I'm just going to try to create my own style a little bit." He said, "I don't know, it sounds like a bucket of worms or something like this."
Well, it didn't work too well to start with.
Has it
In fact,
ever
I'm
worked?
still trying to figure it out.
Okay. Well, we are grateful for all the people that's here and glad we could live to be a part of this. It's probably a one-time thing. You never know if we'll all get together again or not. We're thankful that we could see people we grew up listening to and had so much influence on us trying to learn to sing what we love to do. And of course, our grandfather, we talked about the Bristol sessions. He played a fiddle tune on the Bristol sessions in 1927, and we're real proud of that because I finally got a copy of that a couple of years ago and got to listen to how he played fiddle, you know. And
You had never heard him?
yeah, I heard him play.
Jesse
back
fiddles
home.
just
Yeah,
like-
we used to, yeah. I heard him play when we were growing
Screams and
up.
all.
Anyway, talking about the Louvin brothers, we were searching for songs when we got our first record contract. We was up in Kentucky, and I was sitting in a hotel room there one day, and I was trying to get something going, and I sat down and wrote about a letter to every record company I could get the address from for the radio station, and yeah, I got some answers for some of them, but they didn't understand what I was trying to say, I guess. Of course, nobody never has. Anyway, we got our first record contract accidentally by running into Ken Nelson of Capitol Records up in Cincinnati when we was trying to get deals with other people, and surprisingly, he said he'd call us back on a Sunday, and we went home and I thought we'd forget about it, and sure enough, he called on Sunday and got us to record. And we had got a song from Farley Holden of the Holden Brothers, who used to be over in Renfro Valley. And he said, "I got this song." He said, "The Louvin brothers wrote this." And he said, "I'm not going to get to record it." He said, "Maybe y'all could do it." And I don't reckon Charlie and I ever recorded that song, did you, Charlie? Are You Missing Me? What? That? Yeah.
The Onion song.
Yeah. Fairly Hold. I mean, he gave us a song, and we it's one of the first numbers we cut for Capitol Records, and we had some pretty good musicians. Had Sonny James playing fiddle on it, and a few other people, and I tried to play mandolin like this on it, and I see if we can do it. Greg McKinn.
I don't think so.
Charlie, you come and get behind us, join in if you want to. Okay. Let's see if I can still do this now.
The day that I kissed you and told you goodbye, your lips told me that you would wait. But your lips deceived me and told me a lie, while your heart was sealing my fate. Are you all alone with a memory? Now that I am gone, darling, are you missing me? Out of the clear sky a letter then came, and just like a bolt from the blue, my castles came tumbling as I read it o'er. I still can't believe that it's true. Are you all alone with a memory? Now that I am gone, darling, are you missing me? Hey, John. It said that in spite of the vow you had made, the glitter of gold turned your head. And while I was trying employment to find, you married another instead. Are you all alone with a memory? Now that I am gone, darling, are you missing me?
Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Doesn't get any better than that. These fine fellows as well as wonderful entertainers. Every once in a while, we'll be booked on the same festival, and I'll tag along, ride the bus with them on the short hops, that is.
Well, Mac, I'd like to say one thing. We play a lot of festivals together, and one of the highlights of my playing is when I get to stand behind Mac Wiseman and play backup for him.
Well, you do a great job.
He does things that he don't realize what a practice session you give me.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you very much. Very complimentary.
That sounds a little bit like it, don't it?
Brotherly love and brotherly harmony, two of the strongest things around. On Volume 4 of Grassroots to Bluegrass, you'll get to hear Mike Seeger play a unique banjo as well as a tune on the Jew's harp. Mac Wiseman and bashful brother Oswald will be rendering a tune, and Charlie Louvin and Del McCrory sing a couple of toe tappers. But first, watch as little Roy Lewis attempts to figure out how to play a gourd.
What was the first banjo you ever had? How old were you?
6.
6 years old? What was it?
I still have it. It's
still
no
have it?
name on it. It's just an old piece of junk. And Dad has sewed up it had a head on it like this.
Uh-huh.
And right now I have it. And he took a needle and thread and sewed it up. And the
Stitched
thread,
up a hole in it?
And the thread is still in it. I have it at home. And then he went to a pawn shop and bought me one for about $20. And it was a it was a better banjo. And my brother Esley, he's the engineer on the railroad. He used to play banjo for the Lewis family before I did. And he went off to Fort Sill, Oklahoma in 1951. And he had bought a Gibson RB100. And last thing he told me, don't be playing that banjo. Well, the dust hadn't even settled.
He hadn't got out of the house.
And when he got back, you know, these old heads, you couldn't clean them.
Yeah.
And it was all a mess. And when he come home on his first furlough, he said, you can just have it. I'm going to buy me another. So he went back to Oklahoma and bought another one. He sure did.
Oh, man.
I just a nut over banjo.
Hadn't got out of the house until you had that.
Oh, man, you'd have to play a Gibson. You don't want to play anything else. You know, it's something about it, you know. It looked like if Gibson is wrote up there, it looked like it's supposed to be better, you know. You know.
They make some fine instruments. Yeah. They sure do.
Man, I ain't never seen nothing like this, but I have now. Wonder what this is for. Wonder what this is.
I'm guessing all that's just decorative.
I mean, you know that's...
That may be the bend notes.
I can't find nothing down here, though. I can't play it. It's just impossible. But I'm having fun trying.